a spider. Anansi, he is a man. Anansi, he is a lazy one. Do as little as he can. Do as little as he can. Anansi is a trickster character from West Africa, and you hear about him a lot in stories from that part of Africa. He's a trickster because, well, he likes to play tricks on people, but he also gets into a lot of trouble. The story you're going to hear today is Anansi and the Moss-Covered Rock. Once upon a time, Anansi was walking through the forest when he came upon a strange moss-covered rock. My, that's a strange moss-covered rock, he said. Kaboom! Down he went. An hour later, he woke up and his head was spinning and he still felt dizzy. Well, let's see what happened. I was walking through the forest when I got to this spot and I said, my, what a strange moss-covered rock. Kaboom! Down went Anansi again. An hour later, he woke up, his head spinning. Aha, Anansi said. This is a magic rock. Whenever you see it and you say, my, what a kaboom, down you go into a dead faint. Aha, I can use this to my advantage. So Anansi came up with a plan. Anansi went walking till he came to Lion's house. Lion was sitting on his porch with a big bunch of yams at his feet. Oh, Anansi loves yams, but he's too lazy to pick them himself. So he said, "Good morning, Lion. How are you?" Lion said that he was fine. Anansi mentioned that it was hot and asked Lion if he'd like to go for a walk in the forest. Lion agreed that would be a great thing to do on a hot day such as this. So Anansi and the lion went walking through the forest, and Anansi led the lion to a certain spot. "Look," Anansi said, "do you see that?" My, what a strange moss-covered rock. Kaboom! Down went Lion. While Lion was asleep, Anansi ran to Lion's house and gathered up all his yams and took them to his own house. An hour later, Lion woke up and his head was spinning and he was very dizzy. He went home and saw that all his yams were gone. Lion was very sad, but Anansi was very happy. He couldn't wait to play his trick again on someone else, so he went walking until he came to Elephant's house. He greeted Elephant and asked Elephant how his day was going. And Anansi made sure to mention that the day was very hot indeed. Elephant agreed, and Anansi asked him if he'd like to go for a walk in the cool forest. Elephant thought that was a great idea, so the two went walking. And sure enough, Anansi led Elephant to a certain place. "Look," Anansi said, "do you see that?" "I sure do," said Elephant. My, what a strange moss-covered rock. Kaboom! Down went Elephant, and while he was asleep, Anansi ran to Elephant's house and stole all of his bananas. Elephant woke up an hour later and he was very dizzy. He went home and saw that all of his bananas were gone. Elephant was very sad, but Anansi was very happy. He played his trick on hippopotamus. He played his trick on giraffe. He played his trick on rhinoceros, and he played the trick on zebra and all the other animals in the forest, except little bush deer. Little bush deer was very small and could hide easily in the brush. Plus, she was very shy. She had been watching Anansi this whole time playing his trick on all the other animals, and she thought, "It's time for me to play a trick on Anansi. and teach him his lesson. So she went deep into the woods where the coconut trees grew, and she shook down lots of coconuts and gathered them into baskets and took them to her house, where she put them on the porch. Then she sat beside them and rocked back and forth on the porch in the chair and waited. And sure enough, Anansi came walking along. "Good morning, little bush dear. How are you?" "Well, I'm just fine, Anansi. How are you?" "It's a hot day, isn't it, Anansi?" "Yes, it is. As a matter of fact, I was going to ask you if you would like to go for a walk in the cool forest." "I sure would," said little bush deer. And the two went walking through the forest. Anansi was so excited because little bush deer had had coconuts on her porch. Coconuts were Anansi's very favorite. He loved the tender white meat and the sweet coconut milk inside. Of course, he was too lazy to gather them himself, so he was looking forward to this trick most of all. He led little bush deer to a certain place in the forest and said, "Oh, little bush deer, look at that." "Look at what?" little bush deer said. That, look at that." "Look at what? I don't see anything." "You see it right there, right there." I don't really see anything." "Yes, you do. You know," Anansi said. Little bush deer said, "I know what?" And Anansi said, "You know what you're supposed to say when you see something like that." Little bush deer said, "I don't know what to say." "Say it," said Anansi. "Say what?" "You're supposed to say, 'My, what a strange moss-covered rock,' and kaboom! Down went Anansi. While Anansi was asleep, little bush deer ran and got all the other animals. And they went to Anansi's house and they got back all the good things that Anansi had taken from them. Anansi woke up an hour later. He was dizzy and his head was spinning, and he realized he had been tricked. He scampered home as fast as he could, and sure enough, all that good food was gone. But do you think Anansi learned a lesson? He didn't, because he's still playing tricks on people. Anansi, he is a spider. Anansi, he is a man. Anansi, he is a lazy one. Do as little as he can. Do as little